Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. It is your boy AJ, aka Sensei Swole, back with another video on the channel. Now last week I put up a video about my top 3 chest exercises, but today we'll be talking about training back. So I'm going to go through my top 5 exercises for back. And yes, we're doing 5 as opposed to 3 because there are several components of the back. There is the traps, upper, mid, lower back. There's plenty to go around. So we're going to dive into 1 or 2 compound exercises and then some isolation exercises to make sure you can get the greatest growth for your back when in the gym. Now for exercise number 1, I'm going to be mentioning an exercise I only started implementing into my workout routine for the last few months, which is bent over barbell rows. Now quick disclaimer before I proceed with explaining why I use this. I also perform this on a Smith machine as opposed to a regular barbell in a squat rack or anything like that. And that is because I've had lower back pain for about 2 or 3 years and I feel more locked in and controlled when using a Smith machine for this movement, as well as being able to call it quits by simply letting go of the barbell in that Smith machine rack rather than possibly letting go of the weight or falling forward with the weight and messing up my back. Now, why the bent over barbell row? Simply because it hits so many important aspects of the back. This exercise isn't only great for developing amazing back thickness, but it also targets so many different areas of your back and accessory muscle groups. This can also hit your rhomboids, your teres major, your teres minor, your traps, as well as your rear delts. So it's honestly like a super movement which targets so many different muscle groups and stimulates growth in those areas by recruiting the muscle fibers during that exercise. Now the reason for opting for a barbell variation here, even on a Smith machine, is the ability to load weight. Now, obviously on a single-handed dumbbell row, you might be able to use some heavy weight, but you might have to cap out at about 40, 50 kilos, 60 kilos. Even though those sound impressive, you have to stop at a certain point usually because of your grip strength. You won't be able to grip too much weight with a single hand unless you're putting on some straps or anything like that, which is totally fine as well. So using the barbell simply helps with that. Chuck on the straps, get locked in and go for gold. Pump away as many reps as you can, chuck on some heavy weight, and hopefully progressively overload each week to fry your back and stimulate some muscle growth. Exercise number 2 in another compound is stiff leg deadlifts or rack pulls. Now another reason why I'm using this movement as opposed to something like deadlifts is because of that back injury I mentioned before, because when performing regular deadlifts I do feel quite a bit of pain in my lower back, as well as a bit of paranoia that I'm going to snap my back as I have done before, which put me out of the gym for a solid month. Now the reason why this applies in this context is because when performing a stiff leg deadlift or a rack pull, you usually stop with the weight at about mid shin level, which can help prevent rounding of the back when lowering the weight, especially with heavier weights on this movement. This will primarily target your mid to lower back in terms of strength and hypertrophy gains, but also helps with core, hamstring, and glute development. And I absolutely love this movement. Ever since I started using it, I feel like I've been able to alleviate some of that back pain in my lower back, which almost feels like through developing the muscles in that mid to lower back area, I've created an anchor for my back or for my spine, so it doesn't feel like it's going to just snap when performing most exercises which do require some back rounding or extension. Now exercise number 3 is ultra wide lat pull downs. So this is a movement I've included in my back workout video on the channel before, which is basically holding the lat pull down bar beyond the shoulder grip, so quite a wide grip, and controlling that weight in about a 2-second tempo, coming down to your chest, holding, and then back up. Now this exercise is great because it really targets those mid to outer lat, more specifically the upper and outer lats and teres major in that bottom position when you're contracting the weight. Lat width is something I've been aiming to improve in my off season for 2022, and I can honestly say by chucking in this movement into my routine, I've been able to improve on my lat width greatly, way better than I would have expected, and I can clearly see that when practicing my posing and hitting poses such as a front double bicep or front lat spread. Definitely give it a go if lat width is something you're aiming to improve on your physique. Now for exercise number 4, another one that I have shown on the channel in a workout video, which is one arm iliac rows. Now this is another great exercise to specifically target your lower lats. Now this is another area where I personally feel like I needed some development on my physique before hitting the stage again in 2023. And the thing with hitting your lower lats is tricky. This is because your lower lat fibers aren't actually the same in terms of their orientation as the rest of your back and mid to upper lats. This is because the lower lat fibers, as opposed to the mid to upper back, are attached diagonally to that lower iliac region in the lower back. Because of this iliac row movement is great to target that lower back, as when you're starting with the weight and holding that cable handle, your elbow and your shoulder are going to be 90 degrees, and then you're going to start to leverage that weight or bring that weight all the way down to the top of your hip. You're going to feel greater activation and stress on that lower lat. This is optimally going to create greater fatigue and stimulus in this area for greater muscle growth in your lower lats. And the fifth and final exercise that I love to include in my back workouts is another one for those lower lats. And this is reverse grip lat pull downs. This can be performed either with both hands or a single hand when performing this movement, basically holding the weight with your palm towards you, so supinated grip, having your elbow out in front of you and guiding the weight down towards your hip with your elbow once again. Having this underhand shoulder width grip really lets you guide the weight with your elbow and get a great squeeze and activation in your lower lats. To get the greatest activation you can though, it is quite crucial for your form to be as such, which is keeping your torso upright even with a slight arch in your mid to lower back, so that way you can get a greater range of motion, or almost like an arc motion, to bring that weight down with your elbow and to the bottom of your hip. Now, once again guys, that was my quick and easy video into my top 5 back exercises. These are just personally the ones that I chuck into my routine because I feel the greatest mind muscle connection, activation, and stimulus in the form of growth when performing these movements. Hope you guys enjoyed me explaining why I chose some of these exercises, whether it be from an activation or hypertrophy standpoint or because of my lower back injury, and maybe just give them a go in your workout and let me know if you like them as well. I highly recommend you try them out if you haven't already. Now show some love by dropping a like, a comment, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. That was it for today's video. Sensei Swole, checking out.